Boom.
Boom. Ooh. Hey, let's do this. Boom. There we go. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome everybody. We're back again. And guess what the subject is today? It's jack-o'-lanterns. No, it's
Easter.
It's Easter. Yes, you guessed it. Welcome everybody, and thank you for coming in. I'm Dawn. This is Mary. You know the guy up here.
TC, and that lady over there is Kim.
Hi. And this is Terrence.
And that's Terrence the Wonder Duck.
Yes, Terrence says hi, and he hopes everyone's having a great week.
All right, so I'm hoping everybody is having a great week. So it is. We're coming on to Halloween, guys.
Yay.
Or Easter.
What day is it anyway?
It's the 21st. It's Monday.
So Halloween is on what day? Do we even
31st.
know that? We're having a show and we don't even know?
I know it's the 31st.
Well, it depends on where you
31st.
live.
It's 10 days from now.
10 days from now. I'm being as obvious as I can be.
It's on a Thursday, kids.
Ooh. You know what that means. There's Friday morning sugar coma for a lot of people. I think for sure.
Or hose off the front porch from all the shaving cream and stuff.
Ooh. Well, we don't. Do you guys hand out candy in your building?
No,
we don't. They don't encourage it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we've had
apartments.
In the past, we have a house, and in the past we've had people come up and kids.
It's been a long,
but it's been like at least 2 or 3 years now since we've had.
And like I decorated last year, and nobody showed up.
Crickets.
Because a lot of the churches around here, and we have a lot,
there are
do the trunk and treat thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where they let strangers pull up and open the trunk of their car and give out candy.
And then,
seems a little sketchy.
You keep a few body bags in there, and
it seems a little sketchy to me. Just saying.
They do that here, but it's at City Hall.
Oh, at City Hall they do that.
Yeah, and that's where most of the kids go.
Yeah, it used to be. I mean, I remember going trick-or-treating, and TC's been to where my childhood house was. He lived there for a while too. It is way the heck up in the hills. So we had like, quite a few houses to go to, but eventually you just be like, I'm exhausted. Let's go home.
Yeah, and up and down and up and down and around and sideways and backwards. Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
And this is going to give a hint about how old I am. Then the whole Tylenol scare thing happened, and everybody was like, I'm not letting my kid go out and bring home who knows what. So people going trick-or-treating really took a nosedive, and then it would be, well, we'll do trick-or-treating at the mall. And that was what was going on for like a long time. And then
also dating yourself with that comment as well.
I know. And then like the malls started dying. Thank you, Amazon, I guess.
I think it was before.
Now I don't know what people. I mean, you hear kids outside, but I'm like, I don't see them. I don't know where they went. No, I don't know.
They're probably on their way to the church parking lot.
I think more people do parties and things where the kids are all, which is great. I think that's fine as long as the tradition keeps up somehow. Besides the people that are a bunch of no fun people that are like, oh, Halloween's for pagans and blah, 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 and all this other nonsense. I don't like.
We never had a time limit either. I grew up in the country. I grew up in Michigan, out in this country. I had cows for neighbors. And she's been there.
I have
cornfields and cows. It's a thing. So we couldn't walk to everybody's house. So I think one of the family friends that lived down the road, somebody had a station wagon.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So this is like the 60s.
Everybody piles in the station wagon and drives to the nearest farm.
So now remember you could buy the box costumes that had that like fragile plastic Cinderella mask. And then you wore this like, it was almost like hospital quality plastic or something.
It was horrible.
And it was like this Cinderella princess dress that tied.
I wasn't Cinderella, but I get what you're saying. So were you Cinderella?
Or Snow White, one of those Disney characters. I think my brother was
Good
Adam
morning,
Ant.
Gaza. You're what?
Well, Was
Adam Ant was no.
he was a musician.
I was just saying
it was a cartoon character.
Adam, ATOM, Ant.
ATOM. There you go.
So we would all pile into the car and in the back where there's like no seatbelts and stuff, right? And then we would drive to everybody like we knew from church and stuff like that, and like my grandparents' house and other people's house. And there was a lady that lived on the main road, and she lived by herself, and she would give away caramel apples.
Homemade.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And the
with razor blades.
No. And that was the rumor that had been around forever, is that you had to be careful of getting apples from people because of the razor blades.
Which is First of all, the kid
you mentioned the curfew thing. That when they started with it, they've done that up here. It's like, trick or treating is between this time and this time.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I thought we lived in America. When did this stuff start? I remember when I was trick or treating, and trick or treat time was over when you were too tired to walk anymore.
Exactly.
When your mom had to hoist your little sister on her, on her hip or something like that, that was okay. We're going home now,
Wow,
or if you just,
I guess I'm alone. I lived in small towns all but 1 year that I did trick or treating, and every town had a curfew. It was like 6 to 9 or 6 to 8:30, whatever it was. I mean, it was that way in Utica, it was that way in Marne, and it was that way in Harrington.
What I didn't like is when they started trick or treating like way before the sun went down.
Oh, I know.
And then, it's like, and it stopped way before, just as it's getting dusk. It's like, now we're done.
We were, and especially if Halloween fell on a school night, then you were like shot the next day.
Well, Momster says she'd go out and fill a couple bags up and just knew where all the good stuff was. But I like the full size candy bars too. Gus is saying it's definitely an American thing. I don't know if any other countries do that or not. Mom was always a witch, ugly, bad witch, great makeup. I thought you didn't like witches, Ma.
We went for a couple hours at least.
Wizard of Oz. She doesn't
around like. Here, if it's like on a school night, and even if it's not, if Halloween falls on the weekend or whatever, they do it from like 5:30 to 7. So
wow,
if it's on a school night,
that's way too early.
Then if you're a parent that works, you got to get home, get the little kidlets into their costumes
and get them out the door,
and then get them out the door.
That's crazy.
And they're still driving them. A lot of them still drive in the neighborhoods, depending. But like for the longest time, we were the only ones decorating
around here. You mean?
Yeah.
We had quite the. Did you guys decorate when you were kids? Did your families decorate?
When we were kids, we would decorate. We had like the paper, like the paper witch or the paper cat and stuff like that. My mom had been into ceramics when I was younger. She did it one year. She did this ceramic witch that was about that high, and it was really, really cool. It was really intricate and really nice. The one thing that I remember the most about Halloween back then was when you come home, you get your little bag of stuff. And of course, your mom has to check everything to make sure that some psycho didn't put like straight pins or razor blades or whatever into it. And then it's like, I know.
Never.
It's like, well, if it happened to one person, that's one person too many. But
I guess.
But then you have to do the thing if you have siblings. Like I have a sister.
Yeah.
So then you do well, I have this and you have that. So now we have to try and trade off on things.
Right.
Because I would be like, okay, I have a pack of gum. I'll give you I'll give you this pack of gum if you give me those 2 things of Junior Mints, because me getting screwed out of candy, and
that
her
sister was a gum fanatic.
Yeah. And that we would haggle for hours. It would just be like, it was ridiculous.
And the family bartering systems began. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And your mother's like, well, you can have 1 piece of candy tonight. Gee, thanks.
I'm opening that shit up on the road, man. I'm just.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, okay, put the rest away for later. No, it's mine.
Later is 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, the later is right there. For sure. And if you found a house that gave away full-size candy bars, that was that was the gold house. That was like,
they were
yes,
like
gold
gods.
standard.
I mean,
Woo!
Yep.
they were cool
Everything
people
was
that
shit.
night.
So
the best
did
thing
you have,
for me was when it comes to the best treats, when we lived in Utica, Ohio, which is north of Newark and south of Mount Vernon, exactly 13 miles to either city. The school music teacher, Mrs. Wenz, lived on North Street, so all the kids came up and buy it because she would stand outside, and she wanted to try and guess every student, and she always made fresh homemade popcorn balls,
oh
and that
wow.
was always cool. She was a wonderful lady and always fun.
I love the homemade popcorn balls.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite things. But so what was your favorite treat?
My favorite was probably Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
If you got a full size Reese's peanut butter cup, it's like, yes, score. That was my
worst
thing.
one too. What was your and then what is the one you never wanted to get or you trade off real fast?
Well, the trade-offs was always gum. It was like, take it, I don't want it, it's gum, and my sister would grab it instantly. But I hated getting those candies that were like really old. And I don't mean like that the candy was old. I mean like it was a type of candy that hasn't been made
candy,
since
right?
like the type of candy that hasn't been made since the Harding administration.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And then give
like
you a
Mary
handful of that
Jane's.
crap.
I was always like, what the heck is a Mary Jane? And my mother would be, oh, I remember those. Nope. It's like my mom remembers eating these. Forget it. Not eating that.
They might have
You
tried
know.
them when my mother was eating them. Who knows?
I bet you threw out all the candy corn too.
Candy corn is evil.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
It's all there is to it. Candy corn
you
is
like
evil.
circus peanuts too.
I do. I'm a circus.
Ah.
Well,
I don't like them as much as I used to.
I don't buy them anymore, but if somebody's got one and they hand me one, of course I
Now, candy corn's better if you mix it with like salted peanuts.
That is true. That is
The
true.
other thing I couldn't stand was bitter honey.
Oh
See,
yeah,
I like those.
Oh, those are
No.
so
Hard.
gross.
you have to
I was
hold them.
like, oh,
You have to hold them under your armpit for a while
Oh, yeah, that's
to
appetizing.
soften them up. Yeah. See, mom,
Yeah,
likes
they're
them.
just gross.
Love candy corn. So how about you?
Did you guys ever go trick or treating when it was like almost snowing out
Oh God, yeah.
on Halloween?
No, actually not.
Probably not where they.
I don't ever remember it being that cold when I was a kid. Since I've been an adult, yes, we've had snow before Halloween, and I'm just kind of like, yep, Al Gore was right.
A couple of times.
Don.
Hey,
Welcome.
Don.
Hi.
Yeah, so imagine you got your costumes on, your crinkly little costumes, your winter coats.
Yeah, and snow pants.
And you're jamming yourselves, all these munchkins, into a station wagon.
and snow pants.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't have snow pants, but it was.
I want to know what TC's favorite candy was.
Well, other than Mrs. Wentz's homemade popcorn balls, I always liked the Reese cups, and I like Snickers and Milky Way, all the usual stuff. But unlike him, I also liked it when we would get good gum, like a box of Chiclets or something, not the
Bazooka stuff.
double bubble, and Bazooka, which was always hard and you couldn't really chew it. So,
And again, remember that secret.
And then if you did get to chew it, it would last for like 5 minutes.
If that.
And then it was like
If that.
yeah,
If that, for sure. How about you? Favorite candy?
Um,
Anything full size? Candy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anything
didn't
full
last
size, it was
very
like that's the cool house.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the full size candy bars. I don't remember. I think there's like 1 or 2 years that happened, and then they just got too expensive, so people just started buying,
Bags of
and candy companies. M&Ms were always a fave.
Oh yeah, M&Ms.
Yeah.
Snickers.
Snickers were okay. Milky Ways, I could take them or leave them.
Wasn't enough there.
Almond Joys.
You like Almond Joys.
Yeah.
See, I don't like anything with coconut in it.
Me
But I
neither. I
like-
hate coconut. I
Not a
hate it.
girl. That and Raisinets, I didn't like those at all.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody likes those.
All right, I do, but that's okay.
I still think they're just
Covered
rabbit
everything,
poop
yeah.
that they put in a box.
But the one thing I loathed more than anything was the black licorice stuff, like the
Oh, see, I would have traded you for that.
was it Mike and Ike or whatever it was, whatever that candy is that has
Good and
tastes like
plenty.
licorice. What is it?
Good and plenty.
Good and plenty. That was it.
Yeah.
Mike and Ike
Yeah,
was a
my
foodie.
mom would eat that. She loved black licorice. I never could
Hate
stand it.
Hate it.
Yeah, I would have traded you something. For
I
that.
would have given it away. You wouldn't even have to trade. I would just thrown it at you because it was not cool. Not cool. I want to know in the chat, whoever's here, what was their favorite candy to get? I know Mom likes. She said she likes candy corn, which is always good for me. I don't mind that at all.
I don't mind it either. I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't mind it.
And then my next question to everybody is, what was the weirdest thing you ever got in your bag on Halloween?
Oh, I can answer that. The weirdest thing I ever got was I went to a house and they gave me a pack of comic books.
Okay.
Which I was like, thank you. I kind of walked away like, I mean, it wasn't like they shoved a bunch of comic books in a Glad bag and said, here. It was actually like, a packed thing of 3 comics. And I was like,
wow.
All right, I guess maybe they don't like giving out candy. Okay,
maybe.
cool, whatever.
The dentist was giving away.
I don't even remember if they had the covers on them, to be honest with you. And I just remember being like, my mother was like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. They just gave it to me. And I mean,
Probably
if I'd saved them, they might have been worth some money.
Somebody that owned a comic book store and had comics that they had to rip the covers off to get their refunds for.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot. Or that used to happen. How about you, TC?
I don't know if I don't remember anything particularly weird. There was one time when I was a kid where they were handing out bags of chips, like little, individual bags of, I think it was Lay's potato chips. But outside of that, I don't remember getting anything. I would love to have gotten comic books. I would have loved to have gotten records. Me.
Oh yeah, I'd be all over records. How about
I
you?
remember the chips, and that was it.
Because they'll settle to the bottom of your treat bag, and then you get home and you're like, oh look, chip dust.
Yeah, it totally.
Line it up and snort it because you certainly can't eat it now.
It should float to the top, I would hope. Did you have a weird thing? The one of the weirdest things I got was, I don't know, we must have had a dentist living nearby or something. It was a small tube of toothpaste and a toothbrush.
No way.
Yes. For after the treats.
I think I got one of those once too, way back.
Yep.
Why don't you just put a big sign on your lawn? Egg the crap out of my house.
We were into dental hygiene. What can I say?
Maybe the weirdest thing we might have gotten, and I can't, those memories are kind of foggy, but maybe religious tracts,
the books, the little booklets?
The little piece of paper,
telling you how you're going to hell because Halloween's a pagan ritual.
No, they weren't. Okay. It was just always like Jesus, Jesus stuff.
The Jesus books help you find Jesus.
Well, they weren't even books.
Jesus loves you stuff. Yeah,
it was a piece of paper and printed on all sides. And
okay. And Don's about to eat coconut right now. You enjoy that coconut, Don.
You go, Don.
You have some, baby.
Also,
okay.
According to Wikipedia,
because we know how
all the poison candy myths are exactly that. They're pretty much urban legends.
Yeah.
It's I don't,
even before the internet. There you go.
They originated in the United States.
Of course they did.
Of course they did, because we're the ones that were, handing out candy, the little
There have been confirmed cases of poison candy, but these are rare. No cases of strangers killing children this way have been proven.
No, there was a case. Yeah, that is true. There was a case where a man killed, I believe it was his son or his stepson, with poisoned candy, but it was
somebody else.
It was like something to do with insurance or some kind of a custody something or other. I remember that.
Yeah. However, in rare cases, adult family members have spread this story to cover up filicide or accidental deaths.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's just. I mean,
Take 5. I remember those. Take 5. It's got the.
Do they still make them?
Crunchy. Oh yeah,
I like Smarties.
I like those. You like the bitter, the sweet tart kind of stuff.
Smarties? Yeah. Really? Wow.
And Smarties. Here's a little tidbit.
I'll go for the chocolate.
To do with Halloween, but if you're Canadian, Smarties are chocolate candies. They're like M&Ms. They're not the sugar little things.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the sweet tart type
I
stuff.
used to like the whatchamacallit bar.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
before they ruined it by putting caramel in it. They took
don't
the
like
peanut
caramel?
butter out and put caramel in it. And I was like, screw this.
It was cheaper. It must have been cheaper.
Yeah.
Anybody ever heard of the Zero candy bar?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Not that
Love
I got
Zero.
It's
it.
got
Zeros.
like white chocolate on the outside rather than. You never got a Zero?
I don't know, honey. It's
You really
fun.
like that Alpine White honey. I remember that. Was
Yeah.
it Nestle's that did that?
Nestle's Alpine
Yeah.
White were good too when it came to white chocolate stuff. They were great.
We got paydays, but you know,
little,
like
little
I said,
fun size.
but the fun size, you know, very
Snickers.
seldom did anybody give out the big ones.
And I was never really a big fan of the little teeny tiny Hershey bars and Mr. Goodbar and Crackle and I can't
Yeah,
remember.
we can go through that. We can go through a ton of those in like one sitting.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah,
That's the
because
problem.
once you start eating them, you can't stop because there's
All
only,
right,
like,
it's just
one
a
bite
bite
out
of
of them.
chocolate, and then all of a sudden it's 15 bites of chocolate, and you're bleh, for sure. So did your parents or your family give out decent candy, or did they go on the cheap way and you had to go out and get your own dang good candy? How'd it work out for you?
Well, my mom would usually hand out candy at our house because my dad was usually in bed by the time trick-or-treating stuff started because he worked the really stupid early shift at Logan Airport, so he would already be in bed. So my mom would take care of that. When I was when I was old enough to take out my sister to go trick-or-treating, and we were old enough to go by ourselves, and she didn't have to come with us. So that's how that would work.
So did she hand out the good stuff, or did she buy the hard antique candy?
No, she would buy the small size, regular, Hershey bars, stuff like that, She never bought any of the crap because I wouldn't let her. I'd be like, no, I don't want to be that house. I don't want to be the house everybody yells at me tomorrow at school. Your mom gave us crappy candy. I don't want to be that person. I have enough to worry about. I don't want that thrown on me too.
Yeah, my mom's
we
thing
never
was
got
the
egg
single cup Reese cups. That's what she loved to give out.
Ooh, those are nice. That would you
Yeah.
probably were a popular house.
We never got egged or anything because nobody was home because my mom would go with.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my brother and I, my
Well, if
mom,
you're-
all piled into this car with some other neighbors, and then no lights left on the house.
Well, you're out in the country. They were busy tipping cows and shit like that. They weren't egging your house.
I never have ever done that.
Tipped a cow? No. Patrick! Hey, buddy.
Johnny.
Hey, Patrick.
Lucas.
Johnny Lucas is here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, so we didn't tip cows. When you guys got older, did you ever go TPing or egging anybody?
No.
Yes.
What?
I never egged.
Well, this is a side of you I've never seen before put in.
We're
Happened once. It happened
finding out
once.
things.
Oh yeah,
When
people do change.
Well, yeah,
When
because
I
it's
wa-
like trick or treat for UNICEF things.
When
Yeah.
I was a freshman in high school, after our Halloween party at church, a group of us went out and we went to the cemetery in town first. And it was like 9:00 at night. It was dark. You couldn't see anything. And then we decided, hey, let's go grab a couple rolls of TP and TP a couple teachers' house. And that was fun because we got caught. But they laughed with us, thankfully. I mean, this is Harrington, small town. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
It was funny, but that's the only time.
But yeah, back when buying that much toilet paper wouldn't break you.
egging and shaving cream, I would never do those because they can be destructive and abrasive
Right.
on
Yeah.
things when you spray them or throw them.
I think because I lived so far out in the country and my high school, which was a Christian school, was 20 to 30-minute drive
Yeah.
in closer to Grand Rapids. So for me, I didn't have a lot of friends anyway. So that distance and then also transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
You were kind of out in the boonies.
No, I never did anything like that because
She was an angel when she was little.
No, my dad probably would have shipped me off to military school. So
Yeah, you got that thread over your head.
You gotta walk that fine line. Yeah. Walk that
that
fine
and
line.
my aim was so bad, I probably would have managed to hit myself with an egg or something like that. I have terrible aim, so I was an angel when I was growing up. My mother would always attest to that I was a veritable angel growing up. So
she
of
did.
course, Lucifer was an angel too, so they can take that into consideration.
What are you pointing to me for?
Well, did you ever TP anybody?
Yeah, I didn't
lived in town.
I didn't have the arm for it. We had tall trees in my neighborhood, and I never really could get that. I couldn't get the.
That's not the point. You don't have to be a linebacker or a quarterback to throw the ball. You just have to get TP and stuff.
I think we might have.
I can't even think if I ever did.
I might have.
You don't want to be that one person though that goes to throw it and it's kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to TP the lawn.
I wouldn't have had that problem.
The tree.
I just can't remember if I did it or not. I know I would have never egged anybody.
No, we didn't do eggs
or shaving cream, but I can't remember if we.
Because I learned it. I knew at a young age that eggs will rip the
paint
off of cars and stuff. No, I didn't egg anybody.
So I can't remember if I TP'd or not.
This will be something to talk to your psychologist about next week. I know a lot of repressed memories.
I didn't have a lot of money.
I know a lot of the local. I'm sorry. I know a lot of the smaller stores around here. They won't sell if you show up and you want to buy 6 cartons of eggs, they're going to be like, yeah, right, get out of here. We're not selling it.
We're having a Halloween bake-off.
We're making deviled eggs. It's appropriate for Halloween.
Mm-hmm. What's your problem with me buying all these eggs? Do you want to sell these eggs or not?
Look at the poor white girl.
A lot of places will only sell to people with IDs over 18 for the 2 weeks before Halloween up here.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I mean, I understand why.
I kind of don't blame them, right?
Do they have that same rule for spray paint?
A lot of them, yeah. Not
Huh?
as many, but there's a few, yeah.
Well, back then, Johnny, he wasn't that rich. Buying 6 dozen eggs. But nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, but back then my family didn't have a lot of money. So for me,
water balloons
to go out and buy a big thing of toilet paper, gas money for my car to get to school and work, or buying toilet paper to go TP somebody.
Yeah.
I'm a party pooper. What can I say?
So when you were a kid, did you guys ever do a haunted house, haunted garage kind of thing, haunted yard, anything?
No. We live too far away for people to come and view something like that. They had haunted, they did haunted school things and stuff like that. But they were for the littler kids, and when they started doing it, and I was like, oh, I'm 13 now. I'm too old for that kind of stuff. That, and I have a very bad flight or fight response.
Oh, you punch people, will you?
Yeah, that's it. That's my flight or fight response is punch or fight. That's it. There's no flight part. It's just
hit. I can't run fast enough to make that work, so I'm going to punch your lights out. Basically, is what she's saying, which makes sense. So yeah, pillowcase. Exactly. That's all you had. That's all you had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They did not do those kind of things when my mother was a child. They were respectful.
She can say that.
Yeah, but we don't know.
And how are we going to know?
I'm sure there was mischief.
We would have to ask her siblings.
There was mischief.
And say, did she do this stuff? Because,
Because everybody does the old, well, you can buy the big blow up decorations, right? The big things in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. We have one of those around here.
There's a couple places.
Oh, my God. There's
on the way to
a 12-foot blow up Frankenstein down the road from us on the way to physical therapy that we look at, and it is so flipping cool.
It's huge.
Yeah, they are cool. There's one around here that's got a big snow globe, or it did pre-pandemic. It was like a big snow globe, and I don't remember what was inside, but instead of snow, it was bats. So there'd be bats all swirling around, and I was like,
that's cool.
That kicks butt.
They had something up almost year round because they had giant inflatables for the Patriots, for the Red Sox, for the Celtics. They had stuff up all year round.
Their garage must be packed with shit. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And they keep them on all night. I'm like, how much does this cost? I
know.
I don't know.
There's a great movie out there called The American Scream which is about people that put that do these haunted houses for their neighborhoods and stuff. It's several years old now. I don't think any of them are probably still doing it, but it's a great. It gives you a great insight into what goes in. It's just as they're just as nuts as the people that, you know, spend $100,000 on their Christmas light display.
Yeah, there people nowadays they spend a lot of time and money on that stuff. When I was a kid, so maybe what my mom can determine this. I was probably 14, 15. My brother was probably 12, 13. And we for Halloween, we decided we were going to scare the little kids that came up to the door rather than go out and get candy. So we had a front porch where we knocked the bottom screen out of the storm door that was on the front porch. And I was down there with like gloves that, like, you know, the kind of gloves you wear to clean the sink. And we put latex on them to make it look really nasty and stuff. And I would hand the candy out that way. And he, like this maniac, he got all made up like a wolf man. And we had like sound effects, right? Because you could get that. Speaking of music,
you could get tape cassettes.
You could get cassettes and albums that have like creepy sounds for Halloween, right? And we'd be playing that. I was into cameras, so I had like a strobe flash thing to go off and thunder sounds. And he was on the freaking roof. I shit thee not. He was on the roof of the front porch, growling and jumping around and freaking out people.
I like his style. Yeah, I like that. That's very cool. I like that.
Until she made him get off the roof because she was afraid he was going to fall off the roof. But
yeah, you don't want to show up at the hospital looking like that, being like, I fell off a roof.
But you know, dang well that's not the worst the hospital's ever seen. So.
You can attest to it. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we didn't give away. We got to keep the candy we didn't give away, which is the other thing. This is part of the plan.
Well, if they don't eat it because they're running away in terror, you don't want it to go to waste. Exactly. I mean, you know.
Exactly. So yeah, that was fun. And then of course later in life I ended up helping out with different
you did the nonprofit thing.
Nonprofits with their haunted houses that they did too.
Like Kiwanis or whatever. Or
JC's.
JC's, that's what it was.
Junior Chamber of Commerce. It was the Hart area JC's from Hart, Michigan.
HART.
And we had literally put together, we found abandoned properties or people would donate there's houses, a lot of houses up there that just don't have anybody living in them. And at the time, we'd find a space and go in a month in advance and fix it up and basically make it a haunted house. So it was a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun. So one thing I just remembered that one year I worked on I was working Halloween night. I worked in a bookstore for 4 years, and I got a makeup kit, and my mother helped me paint it because I couldn't paint myself because I can't see without my glasses. And it was like a silver face, and one eye had a spider web over it with this long line going down with a black widow spider on the end of it. It looked amazing. And everybody, like people at the store, they would be like looking at their stuff and they're not even looking at me at the cash register. And I'm just kind of standing there like, any day now, you going to look at my face? You going to look up?
No.
Hello?
You're not even there. You're invisible.
And then they'd look up and they'd be like, and I'm like, hi. No, I'm just standing here with a spider crawling up my face. There's nothing to really, you know.
Nothing to see here. This is me every day.
People were like, wow, that's so cool. And I was like, then I realized, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm working tonight. I got to go get dinner like this. Cool. And I like went over to Papagino's and I'm like, yeah, I can have some pizza. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, working. They're like, what are you supposed to be? A working stiff. Can I have my pizza, please?
Ah, yeah. There you go.
I had two costumes that I have to say, disclaimer, that I now in 2024 acknowledge that they were totally inappropriate.
Oh.
They were totally inappropriate.
Oh.
Okay.
Racially, they were totally inappropriate.
Oh, that kind of inappropriate. I thought you meant like sexually inappropriate.
No, the first one is
you weren't in blackface, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Not a clue, right? So I was on my internship in my junior year of college
Put that back to you.
in 1982-ish or something like that. So it was in Chicago. So one of the places that a couple of the guys rented was like a coach house above a garage.
Okay.
Right? So now you got like 20 students up there. And the floor, we were dancing and the floor was doing
I
this.
can imagine.
It was cool. And so
Until it
I
falls in.
dressed up. I had this skirt that I had made for when I was playing an old lady in Oliver in high school that I had made.
Theater
They
kid.
had patches on it, stuff. I had black gloves on. Every part of my skin that showed, I put black on it all over. I had a gray wig with a bun in the back.
Were you Mrs.
I had a
Butterworth or
cane.
something?
I had a shirt.
Aunt Jemima
So
from the sound of it.
I just
Aunt Jemima, Mrs. Butterworth, whatever.
no, I just played this little black lady, and like nobody knew who I was.
I can imagine.
So that was the first one, and I totally
You're
admit
tall. How could you be a little old black
you
lady?
stoop over. You
Okay.
you shrug your shoulders in. Yeah, so that was that one. And then the second one, I was bartending in this little neighborhood restaurant, and I dressed up as a Mexican bandito.
You were just hitting every rate.
Like, and this is totally now. This was I
Mary,
never do
naughty.
this. I just didn't know back then. You're talking
Yeah.
the 80s and early 90s.
Yes, Michael, you did. The most awkward moment. Here he is.
So I
It's true.
didn't know, and I know now, so I won't do it again. But I literally I was dating a police officer at the time.
Oh,
so
you
I
had
got,
the
I had the
bandolier.
ammunition thing across. I had a serape. I had a sombrero.
mustache?
I got my hair
Cigar?
back. I put on a fake mustache. I
Wow.
dirtied up my face, and my regulars didn't know it was me.
You should have had a tape that played the music from the Frito Bandito commercials.
Yeah, that would have really been good. So you, all right. So what
I'm going, how long is it going to take before he brings up the Frito Bandito? Thanks for not like disappointing me, babe.
You know it too well.
Hey, part of my childhood. What can I say?
So, that being said, I now know that that was not
Probably not.
a correct thing
Did
to
you
do,
test
but
it?
at the time it was innocently done.
Did you go as a squaw some year? That okay, good. Just checking. Just
No.
checking.
Well, you grew up in a small town,
Yeah.
so I mean that's understandable that
You're not doing
wouldn't,
it
like,
Like I didn't
connect it.
I didn't actually really meet black people until I went to college in the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, that's true. You
I did work with Mexican migrants when I was 16. I worked in the fields and then I worked in the produce plant. And so they hired a lot of Mexican migrants and I got to know them.
Yes.
Yeah, thank God you,
Remember-
Johnny Lucas got a point. Thank God we did that before the internet, or you would never. Your political career would be ruined. There you go.
I mean, I know.
Well, you
that
wouldn't know that by now, considering all the stuff that some certain angry Cheeto says, and people still want to vote for him.
Yeah, you never know. Okay,
Yeah.
so I remember this. My mom says her brother had a garage filled with monsters and graveyards, and all the neighborhood kids would come. Were so upset when they quit doing it. Yeah, he had literally had coffins. He had animatronic stuff as best as you could do back then. Fog machines, the whole 9 yards. Probably that's probably what.
I knew a guy in college that slept in a coffin. He wanted to date me. That didn't happen.
No, I don't blame you.
we didn't have those kind of people in my college. They probably would have been asked to go home.
That's true. It was a Christian college, and they weren't into that at all.
No, not
Yeah.
really.
So
Like-
so some of the, like we were saying, that there's not a lot of Halloween music unless you come up with some playlists, which Mary did. So Monster Mash is probably the first thing that comes to mind for us
Mhm.
As an oldie but goodie.
as an oldie but goodie.
Oh, yeah.
But also there was that, like I said, when I was a kid and we did the haunted porch thing where my brother was up on the roof, they had that
Mhm.
soundtrack. It was probably a Disney one. I don't know if it was Disney or not, but they had Frights and Screams for Halloween or something, where they had sound effects, screaming women, creepy music, thunder and lightning.
There's been several. Disney's put out several of those. Other companies have put them out as well. Disney also put out a record that was specifically geared to their Haunted Mansion ride.
Right.
Ron Howard did the voice as one of the characters. There were a boy and a girl that get lost in the Haunted Mansion, and Ron was one of the characters. sometime leaning more toward Richie Cunningham than Opie Taylor. His voice had changed by then, but
Well, it happens.
but I
Dr.
think
Demento.
to
And
me,
he's
anything
a lot
that's
of
got
good
anything. Dr. Demento rocks, Johnny. Good choice. To me,
Yeah.
anything that's got a horror element to it is a Halloween song. Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Frankenstein from the Edward Winter Band.
Yeah, like I was just gonna
Mhm.
say I did that last year when we replayed all those amateur productions we did. One of the things we did for War of the Worlds was a simulated radio show of Halloween music, and we did a whole bunch of pop songs, basically Thriller, Godzilla, Monster Mash, so on and so forth.
Yeah, the good stuff. The good stuff.
Yeah, Thriller more recently, so to speak, would be Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
that was when that dropped back. The 80s.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was huge, and plus it revived Vincent Price.
A
whole new generation
who
found
Vincent
out
Price
who
was.
Vincent Price was. Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
A little bit paranoid,
which also involves Michael Jackson and Jermaine, I think. They're singing backup on that song, which is another reason why that song was so popular.
Yep. Also, because you can definitely tell it's Michael Jackson in the background.
I didn't know Jermaine was on there for a while, but I guess Vincent Price is one of the most awesome actors ever, and I will fight you on that. So, I loved it. When I heard his voice in that record, I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is amazing. Because my sister was the biggest Michael Jackson fan in the whole universe, and lucky me, I shared a room with her. Yay. So she had one of the posters she had on her side, because her side of the room was all Michael Jackson. My side of the room was all pro wrestlers. So that was interesting. One of the posters she had was this big poster of him surrounded by all the zombies.
Yeah.
So that was fun because the eyes followed you everywhere you went in the room. That was fun. It was fun to wake up to that. It's fun to wake up to that at 3 a.m. You didn't have to pee anymore.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing Vincent Price on the Muppet Show?
Yeah. First place I ever saw Alice Cooper was the Muppet Show. And I was like, I wanted
a short out there where Kermit asked him about how does he get the fangs, and so Vincent Price shows him his fangs. He's like, you have to be in the right frame of mind for it and stuff. And then they
Kermit's
go back
got
to
the fangs
and they go back to Kermit. He gets fangs, and then he bites Vincent Price in the neck.
Cute.
Cute. It's really funny. But Alice Cooper is another one. Like I said, the first place I ever saw him was on the Muppet Show. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I want to do that. I was just like, I want to be outrageous and crazy and have people love me. I have got to do what this guy is doing. And I'm sure my parents were thrilled. Well, my parents let me watch Creature Double Feature, which was like 4 hours of monster movies every Saturday, because I guess they figured as long as she's not setting the couch on fire, she must be fine. It was the 70s. So,
So did you guys dress up and go to school? Because I remember walking around school in a costume parade. I remember going to school in costume.
I think we did when I was like super, super small.
Yeah, kindergarten is all I remember. I don't remember what it was.
I couldn't tell you what I dressed as, but
not you guys, because you were, hyper religious. Did you do a saint walk or like a book of the Bible walk?
There was nothing. It was okay to dress up after you got out of school and went home,
but don't do it in school.
No, throughout my
Christian Reformed were not heavy
career,
for the Halloween.
There was no dressing up for Halloween.
You could be a clown.
Considering how a lot of saints ended up, you probably wouldn't want to dress like them either.
That's true.
Most of them wound up being martyred.
Yeah.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc. You could have been Joan of Arc.
Yeah, right.
Jesus and Satan don't mix, exactly.
How about Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr.?
Classic.
That was a good song.
Yeah. Oh, it could, yeah.
It's a good song. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's great. By the 912th time, I was like, I think I'm done. Thank you.
That's the
Don't
problem.
forget to
with
take the
songs
song
like that.
anymore.
They get played to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Thriller almost got that treatment, but I'm glad it didn't. Not for me anyway. I know, like I said, it depends on where you lived. Some people are like, God, Thriller, if I hear it again, I'm going to kill myself. But
Yeah, but I think there's been enough time passed between when it was popular when we were young adults and now. And so when I hear it now, I only hear it like once, and that's okay.
yeah. Oh, Michael's like, it does not Halloween until the theme song for Halloween starts.
Yeah.
Oh, that is some good
So,
stuff. That
Do
is
you
some good
guys
stuff.
do you guys like horror movies?
Kim is a horror fan. I'm not so much, but I do like Halloween.
You don't have to answer this question then, because I'm not a big horror fan either. So
Monster Mash, yeah.
Kim and Dawn.
Yes.
I don't mean to sound like I don't mean to sound like a snob. I'm more of a classic horror movie fan, the Universal stuff,
So
Dracula,
which
Frankenstein, that kind of jazz.
Movie, because I don't like just A or B answers. I don't like questionnaires.
Okay.
So
Multiple choice.
which scary movies do you think had the best theme scary music?
Halloween.
Halloween.
Anything John Carpenter? We've kind of talked about that last show, right?
Yeah, we did.
But as far as for music, yes.
I mean, not that it was not 40, but
I'm not sure who did the music. I should know this and I don't. But Psycho also has an incredible score. I mean, besides the whole ree in the shower that everybody knows about, there's also other parts that are so good.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not sure who it was either. Now, as far as movie sound effects,
I know, but I can't think of it.
Horror movie sound effects, where it's not just the soundtrack, but the actual effects in the movie. Evil Dead 2. Totally the best. You've got some amazingly outlandish sound effects. Go watch the movie. Not the first Evil Dead, but the second one they did.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a little more higher budget for one thing. Go listen to that movie. Don't just watch it, but listen to it. It's amazing. In fact, when we were doing some of the the JC's haunted house stuff, we used that stuff. I specifically, because I had a video store, I could pull the soundtrack. I could pull the soundtrack off of that, or the music and the sound effects off of that, and we used that in the haunted house. It's amazing.
It's Bernard Herrmann that did Psycho.
Thank you. Thanks. I couldn't think of the name, but that's.
And yes, Patrick, I agree with Patrick. I love that section of Tubular Bells they use for The Exorcist is great for Halloween. The whole thing is not. It's very up and but that one segment, top notch Halloween music.
Oh, Deborah said Elvira. You can't forget.
Let's not forget
Elvira,
the Mistress of the Dark.
And who remembers watching Charlie Brown Halloween?
It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kim's actually going to talk about specials on her show tomorrow, so that'll be. We just filmed it. She did it today. It'll be fun. That's one of the ones she covers.
One of the sound effects
that calls Lucy a naughty word.
We're scaring you. Sorry, dude.
Don't spoil it. To me, one of the best sound effects in a horror movie is the from Friday the 13th. That just sets, you're just like, oh crap, something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna, well, there it is, knife in the head. You know, it's like you just know something bad's coming.
Yeah, I can't. That's why I can't watch this stuff, because I'm like,
Mary, do you like the classic horror films like Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman?
No.
Young Frankenstein?
I love those. I love
Young Frankenstein?
I just
kill.
I just have never watched a lot of scary movies.
Yeah.
Him actually got me to watch Psycho a couple years ago. I hadn't seen it before. And I love it.
Yeah, we actually got to see when they re-released Halloween to the theaters. We got to see it together at our local cinema, which is now gone because screw us.
Yeah.
And it was so cool seeing it on the big screen. It was just.
It was.
Besides the fact that I was like, I want my mom. You know, it was just like I'd seen the movie before, but it was like just seeing it on the big screen was just so damn scary.
She got me
and
to
there,
see.
And there isn't a lot of blood.
Night of the Living Dead was good too. That was actually pretty good.
Night of the Living Dead freaked me out so much. I was a teenager when I saw that.
They're
And I
coming
lay-
for you, Barbara. Yeah.
I lay in bed that night like, can't sleep, they'll get me. Like, can't sleep, they'll get me. Can't sleep, they'll get me.
Mhm.
I was
Don,
so
was that you?
freaked
That
out.
was very good.
But thank you. Yes, that was the only line I remember from the whole movie. They're coming for you, Barbara. Yeah.
They're just, and the end of that movie, just you sit there and you're like, what? I won't give it away. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
I don't know if it's a spoiler after many, 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 many years like that.
Also, Don, if I know Mary probably won't be interested. If you've never seen it, there is an incredible version of Night of the Living Dead called Night of the Living Dead Reanimated. It is an all animated version using the original voice track from the original movie. And I mean, the animation styles, they actually have puppets at one point. It is absolutely brilliant. That's the first thing I saw. I didn't see the other one until afterward.
Mm-hmm. It is very cool.
I think one of the scariest movies I've ever seen was when I worked at the Guest Ranch in 1985 up in the mountains of Colorado, which is where The Shining was.
Oh, The Shining, yeah.
Was filmed, right? And so all of us employees who were all, young adults at the time, we had like a little hangout area in like next to the barn or wherever it was. And it had a TV in it, a little lounge, like a little lounge place, right?
Employee lounge, I guess.
So, So the guys were, the women outnumbered the men. So it made the guys really happy because when you're watching The Shining in the dark,
with your VCR, was it on a VCR?
You're like this, probably
on an
actually, and then the general manager actually showed up to find out what the hell was going on
because you were screaming so
because
loud.
We were screaming so loud. And then we also had a bucket of booze,
red rum, exactly,
like some kind of punch or whatever. And then we hooked straws in together, and then we all had straws.
Trash can is what they call that.
No, it was a bucket.
Well, they call it a trash can, basically. It's when you dump all your booze into one container.
There's no way I would ever do that now because but back then, why not?
It was alcohol.
It was alcohol in a scary movie. And I sat through The Shining, and I'll never do that again.
I understand that.
What?
I think one of the scariest movies we ever saw is it's actually not a very well-known film. We saw it at a film festival, and it was a movie called The Horrible Way to Die. And it's not a horror movie in the conventional, there's nothing supernatural going on, but this movie really hammers home the point that the scariest thing out there are people.
Oh, yeah.
Just people, not even people with hockey masks that don't seem to die when you shoot them in the chest 85 times or whatever.
Can I be honest about that? About that? Can I tell them about that? Sure. We loved that movie when we saw it at the Underground Film Festival, and it was psychologically scary. She woke up screaming with nightmares that night, which I have never seen her do.
Well, yeah, it's like real terror, right? I mean, it's real horror.
Yeah, it's like the thing about those kind of movies that really sinks into your brain is, if you watch a movie where it's, Attack of the 80-Foot Bunny Rabbit or something like that, that there's not going to be really 80-foot bunny rabbits outside your door. But if you watch a movie where there's some guy that seems like your friendly next door neighbor that wants you in his torture dungeon so he can strip off your skin and wear it, that might actually happen. Because you watch the news and you see the fact that there are some sick mother effers out there that do stuff like that,
and you just give away the plot to Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I did watch Silence of the Lambs.
There you go.
Oh, darn, I knew that sounded familiar.
There you go. Did you ever see the Faces of Death movies that they had out?
No.
No. I felt like those were exploitive and wrong.
They were very, but we had a video store. So then you buy this stuff. And yeah, there was like three or more of them. I know we had at least 1, 2, and 3, and those were just weird. My sister and one of her friends brought one of those tapes home, and they're like, put this in for us. And I'm like, you're not going to want to watch this. And they're like, shut up. We know what we're doing, because they're like 14 and I'm
18 at this point. And I'm like, you're not going to want to watch this. And they're like, Kim, shut up. And it was like, they put it in and like 10 minutes later, ew, this is so gross. Why do we watch this? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I mean, it's reality, really. It's just,
and I'm like, I'm just going to take the tape out. I'm going to put it back in the thing, and I'm not going to say anything, but my entire aura is radiating. I told you.
Exactly.
You little morons. But I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want another argument.
Patrick brought up a good point.
You
You
can't
can
watch
watch horror movies,
but not open heart surgery.
but not open heart surgery. I can watch open heart surgery. I can talk about my surgery, even though I did not see it occur. I kind of understand what they had to do. I ask questions. So, and a lot of people are like, I don't need to know that part of it. I just need to know that I have a new knee and I'm good to go. So,
she does that a lot.
yeah, I do that a lot.
We have a unique relationship.
So, yeah. So but if, so that being said, and you realize that's a lot of blood and open heart surgery and whatever surgery it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can be pretty gruesome for a lot of people, and I get that.
I mean,
but if it's a movie where they're like, or something bad happens to somebody and they're like splat, I can't. I just
no, I totally get eye stuff. I cannot handle anything to do with eye stuff. That's my
no. Turn to me and say, "No, tell me when it's over. Tell me when it's over."
Yeah,
I mean, the one movie I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna handle this. I'm a grown ass adult woman now. I can deal with this. We watched this movie from Svengoolie. It was a movie called X, the Man with the X-Ray Eyes.
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
Huh?
I hated that.
Oh yeah, and
the effects they do when he slowly the spoiler, everybody, if you haven't seen it, he ends up going through some process where he wants to create X-ray vision or whatever, and so eventually though his eyes get so what do you want to call it, enhanced.
Yeah, he starts being able to see through stuff, and it's cool at first, because he's seeing through people's clothes. Oh, he boobies and stuff like that. But then it's like he's seeing through everything, and then by the end of it, he's seeing to the center of the universe and the unblinking eye, because we couldn't say God, I guess. And he winds up at a revival tent, and there's a hellfire and brimstone preacher in there, and he's doing the whole "if thine eye offends thee, pluck it out," and that's what he does.
But he also
nope, I'm out of there.
His eyes are like black. He had to put
black.
At
the end of the film, his eyes are black like a bug's. And that I could deal with, but the whole he's gonna pull his, oh my gosh, that's it. I'm done. I'm like, I can't deal with this. I need a cocktail and a hug right now.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oh,
that was so bad for its time.
Yeah, there's a combination.
That's a shirt.
Raymond Land is an awesome actor too.
Canadian indie film
called ATM.
I'm gonna say they're locked in an ATM booth because.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's terrifying. Yeah.
They did a movie like that. There's a movie like that called Phone Booth with Colin
Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Guy can't leave the phone booth because he'll get shot. And I remember that. There's something about tight spaces that people. That's why I've never seen the movie The Descent.
Yeah, I don't like those either. I'm claustrophobic, so
I'm like bunch of women in a cave. Screw you. The only time I'm going in a cave is if Bruce Wayne's in it and wearing that kinky leather outfit. Yeah, other than that, no.
My friends want to go spelunking. Bye. See ya.
Yeah, I won't watch Twilight Zone either.
At all?
No.
There were some good episodes.
I'm not a fan of Twilight Zone either. I like The Outer Limits though, which is weird. The original.
Spelunking is. Did you know spelunking is Latin for go screw yourself? I like Twilight Zone. TC's more of an Outer Limits guy.
I love it.
We should also mention before we get, because it's right at the first hour, I should mention before we end up leaving that we have had the fortune of spending a number of Halloweens in Salem, Massachusetts when I worked up there,
Very
doing
cool.
live coverage, talking to some of the various seers and such, and seeing the costumes. Salem really is absolute insanity on Halloween.
Oh, I can
There's
imagine.
more than 1 million people walking around the streets in a town that normally has 35,000 people.
Damn.
Yowzer.
Damn.
Yeah,
It's
they come
nuts.
from everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it's the whole month to leading up to Halloween. They have a kabillion things going on, all kinds of psychic fairs and costume parties and all kinds of, and people just walking around in costume all day long. I loved this costume because I loved the simplicity of it. Guy walking around with a big box of Kellogg's cornflakes with a big butcher knife sticking in it.
Serial killer.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I love that. I love that one. I was like, dude, that's just so awesome. It's simple, but elegant. I liked it.
So, oh yeah, quicksand seemed to be a bigger problem when I was a kid than it really is in adult life.
Yes.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yes.
Never seemed to be a problem now.
It was
but
such
man,
an irrational fear. Now that you look back on it,
It's
but
like-
yeah, and shows like that did not help.
Yeah, in the 70s, there were two things they would not shut up about: Bigfoot and killer bees. But quicksand was like a third. It was crazy.
ooh, Locutus of Borg. Yeah,
Temple of Doom was PG. Let's rip his
Oh.
heart out. Yes,
that was amazing.
that I liked that movie except for that part. I cringe every time it gets to that part. I don't like it. You can't make me like it.
No, that's because of that movie. We get PG-13 now on stuff, because
that
think
was
of the
horrible.
children.
Because
Ugh.
really, that was horrid.
That was a horrible scene.
Here, let me just reach into your chest and pull out your beating heart.
Yeah, okay. Once we saw a couple, and they decorated their whole house. Yeah, I know. It's like crazy, man. You were 7 when you saw that.
Oh, that had to freak you know what?
Piranha. That's another good one.
Nope, won't watch it.
Yeah, that was a good one, Rick. I enjoyed that one. It's like, what moron dumps the pool out
Jaws.
into the lake?
I did not watch Jaws, but I knew of it because enough people talked about it. And like I used to swim. I mean, come on, I grew up in Michigan, Lake Michigan, people had pools, but
Freshwater sharks?
the whole can't reach the bottom thing
Dun,
is
dun.
just because you're a kid, so your
Dun, dun.
brain and my brain is overactive anyway. So
dun.
yeah.
Yeah, go swimming and have somebody go to me. Dun dun.
Yeah, it didn't help any.
When Jaws came out, my mom took me to see the Apple Dumpling Gang. And this is back when you could actually let your kid go to the bathroom by themselves. I was like 7 or something. And the theater we went to only had like 2 cinemas. So like once I was done in the bathroom, I was like, zip, went right over to Jaws. Nobody stopped me. Nobody did anything. And when I got in there, they were at the part where they're at the kitchen table and they're talking. And I'm like, what is this?
This is
Nobody's
boring.
getting eaten. There's no shark. And I like left and went back, and I was like,
Back to the Apple Dumpling Gang.
I was like sitting
See,
there
I
watching.
did the exact opposite.
You ran away. You went back. You went to the Apple Dumpling Gang instead of Jaws.
I went to see Jaws. I was going into junior high, but I went by myself. Couldn't handle it after 10 minutes. Left, walked out, bought a ticket, and went into the Apple Dumpling Gang.
And
That
you
shows you-
two found each other.
Makes me
It's
one of you,
amazing.
Mary.
The coolest
I
thing
love
with
you,
Jaws
Pete.
is the coolest thing with Jaws is it's really less is more, because the shark animatronic broke down so much they didn't wind up using it as much as they intended to. So
Yep.
for a lot of the film, you only get like little glimpses of things. When you have that one scene where finally we see, like the shark, you see the eyes and the mouth and stuff like that. It's horrifying. I mean, we got to see it at a theater. What was the Coolidge we went to?
Coolidge, and
And these are all, people who have seen.
local cinema.
Yeah, and these are all people who are older and stuff like that, and people still screamed, and it was great because we're all just people. It's that primal fear of the water.
Gore,
No,
right? You don't even have to show the monster a lot of the time. It's the suspense of it. Like Alien did the same thing.
Yeah.
He didn't see that monster that damn often. It was tucked away. You really couldn't tell it was there. It was so dark, but there.
But
yeah.
It's
also
that
the music,
claustrophobic thing again.
the soundtrack, Jaws, dun dun Dun, dun.
Yeah, it's that.
How many people? Because I was a kid when that came out. That like knew that part of Jaws.
And who tried to
Dun,
play it on
dun,
the piano?
Oh, yeah.
Dun dun
All the
dun
time.
dun. Everybody knew that sound, and they knew that was from that scary movie about the big fish.
Big fish.
Big fish with teeth.
Next thing you have Sharknado. There you go.
Yeah.
We probably should call it, guys. I think
Yeah,
we're on our
I think
hour,
so
aren't
too.
we? Oh goodness. Okay, TC, tell everybody where you're going to be. What's going on? And Tim as well.
You can find me normally on TKR Video Central. My wife is there also with Kim Takes on Tuesday, alternate Tuesdays at 7, same week as Finding Your Music Mojo. And I have various shows throughout the weekend. Obscuria Vaults every morning at 11 a.m.
Cool. Kim?
And as he mentioned, I have Kim Takes On, which is on alternate Tuesdays. This week I'm looking at a few Halloween specials from my childhood, so hopefully people will come and check that out. And yes, I did call Lucy from Peanuts a bad word. Deal.
Oh, well, you know,
First Amendment, bitches.
She was a putz. She could be a putz.
She was Lucy.
It was much worse than Putz.
Okay, well, we will be doing our thing this week. We're Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a show called Chick Chat, as a lot of you know, at noon Eastern time. So come check us out there. I'm with Johnny for his Hump Day auction on Wednesdays, and we're on, of course, Whatnot on Tuesday. Thank you.
You can wait the last.
Remember.
TC's had his finger on that button
For the last hour.
forever.
Guaranteed.
So yeah, we're doing, and it should be fun because I just uploaded a bunch of stuff. So come check it out. We play the music there, and we don't have to worry about YouTube copyrights.
And I should be there.
And Mary should be there, so that'll be fun. And we've got, of course, I'm releasing our 45 plays on Sunday, Weird Album Wednesday. Friday is one of our albums from our collection, and Widget snuck in a album track this week, so look for that.
She was feeling left out.
Watch Playback College. Oh, okay, understood.
No worries.
No worries. We understand totally.
We miss
Rachel,
seeing
you're
you in the live, but we appreciate you watching.
Understood. So thank you everybody for coming in. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We will see you.
Thank you for having us, Terrence.
Oh yes, don't forget Terrence. 2 weeks, right? TC.
2 weeks, we will be back. We will have Katie from Vintage and Vinyl on. We'll be discussing
cool.
Record Store Day, Black Friday.
Can't wait.
Ooh, cool.
Katie's smart. I enjoy Katie. She's really cool. So that'll be a good show. So please subscribe to TKR Video Central, guys, in case you're watching on our channel, so you can check that out. But we will be simulcasting as well.
Yep.
And how close are you to your 800? Not close enough. You guys need to subscribe to TKR Video Central, man.
I have slowed down. I was doing really well, and then the last 2 weeks have been screech. So
I don't know why.
That new one I put up, I should go back to the old one because the new one isn't attracting anybody.
Just play with it, man. Massage it. It. You got to massage it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. We will see you.
Yep.
2 weeks. Appreciate everybody. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, TC.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Mary.
Stay safe.
You have kicks.